familiar friend of KFOR joins us every Sunday mornings now. Janine Bryant of Changing Spaces SRS of Lincoln sits down with me on Sundays for Easy Rightsizing. This is a radio guide to your right-sizing journey for older adults, and there is so much to talk about. A lot goes into the process of right-sizing. Janine has even written a book about it. It's Ready to Right-Size, and we will refer to it regularly. Let's welcome in Janine. Hi, Janine. Thank you.
Hello. Good morning.
We are happy to have you here.
I'm thrilled to be here.
Saturday morning listeners know you very well. Delighted to hear that you have joined us on the radio on a weekly basis. For years, Janine stopped in Saturday mornings for a conversation with myself and Rich Rodenberg from Coldwell Banker NHS Real Estate for Start Moving, because you do real estate sales. So people can vacate the space when Rich sells it.
That's right. Yes. After someone moves, you know, when the new owner takes possession of that house, they don't want any of your stuff in it.
No.
So we help empty out the house. We do that with an estate sale, with coordinating with donations. And so we work with real estate professionals a lot. And, you know, you and Rich were so kind to me on the radio on Saturday mornings. I thought, I can do this. I can come back on Sunday morning and do this on my own.
We're going to get into real estate sales, folks, the nuts and bolts of right-sizing, facing that first move in decades. A lot to get to every Sunday mornings during Easy Right-Sizing. Janine Bryant of Changing Spaces SRS. We'll use a phrase a lot that maybe people aren't familiar with. They know what downsizing is. You right-size.
That's right.
Explain that.
You know, right-sizing, it is like downsizing. A lot of people know what downsizing is. It's moving from a larger home to a smaller one, but right-sizing really takes it a step further. It's finding that perfect place between too much and too little. It's like that story, the Goldilocks and the Three Bears, right? Not too big, not too small. Right-sizing is finding the perfect place for you that's not too big, not too small, and the perfect amount of stuff. It has to do what I am talking about is right-sizing your stuff and your possessions so that you don't have too much and you don't have too little. You have the perfect amount of stuff in your home to live your best life.
Downsizing seems a little forced. Right-sizing seems like it's cooperative and
yes, it puts
works.
a positive spin on it, doesn't it? Because really, we have found, we've worked with hundreds of clients over the years, and we have found that universally our clients are so much happier when they are living in a space and surrounded by stuff that's right for them. Perhaps they were coming from a larger home that had rooms or entire floors that they weren't using because they used to they raised their family in that home, and now the kids are grown and gone, and now it's just them or them and their spouse living in a big house, and they don't need all that room. So we're helping them find the right size place for them and surrounded by the right amount of stuff.
And it's important for you good listeners to know that Janine and her team are the encouraging type. The fact that you can do this, it might seem daunting to them.
Absolutely. Yep.
But you encourage them to be able to make the decisions to get this clutter
Absolutely.
away.
It is daunting, and it's an overwhelming transition, and if it wasn't, we wouldn't have a business, right? At Changing Spaces SRS, we have helped hundreds of clients through this process. We get it. Lots of us have been through it with our own family members, and we understand that it's challenging logistically, physically, and emotionally as well. And that's why sometimes you just need a friend, an experienced guide to walk you through the process, give you good advice, hold your hand, and get you through it.
Referring to the book, Ready to Right-Size, you say there's an easy way. I use the word clutter. You say in the book there's an easy way to spot it. How is it easy?
Yeah, you know, I say it's everything after enough. And, you know, what's interesting about that word enough is that enough is really a decision. It's not an amount. And you get to decide what is enough. Okay? Dale, how many shirts are enough for you? That answer for you might be a little different than it is for me. How many books are enough? How many tubs of Christmas decorations are enough for you? You get to decide. You know, at Changing Spaces SRS, when we help clients downsize and move, it's not my job to make people give up the things that they love. It's my job to help them let go of the stuff that doesn't matter quite so much so that they can keep and treasure the things that do matter the most to them. So when you're looking at a particular area of stuff in your house, whether it's kitchen items or books or clothing, you have to ask yourself, what is enough? How many coffee mugs do I need in my house? What is enough? Is 45 coffee mugs enough? How about 15 coffee mugs? How about 20? Everything after what is enough is just taking up space in your house. And so that's clutter.
You're also good at politely keeping them on track. If they're moving, for example, and they're moving from a 4-bedroom into a 2-bedroom, you can't take all your stuff.
That's right. We have a lot of, we call them come to Jesus talks with our clients. When you're moving, it really presses the issue, and you can't physically fit the contents of a 4-bedroom house into a 2-bedroom apartment. So we need to start making priorities. What's the most important stuff? And that's why we talk about your limits, limiting your stuff and respecting the limits of your space. Because one of the messages that I have for folks is that you don't need more storage space, you need less stuff. So if you're going to a new home that has a smaller kitchen, then you need to get rid of some of your kitchen items. If you're going to a new place that has smaller closets than you're used to, guess what? You got to get rid of some clothing.
How does it start? How do you begin?
Yeah, I think if you're setting yourself up for success and you're going to tackle this project on your own, the first thing you have to do is get into the right mindset. And that means that you have to identify all of the stuff that's around you that is really after that enough. That's really clutter and that is taking up space in your home and some stuff that you don't use or love. And so getting into the mindset of thinking, this is going to be a good thing to let go of all of this stuff. It's going to make me happier. It's going to make me more comfortable in my home. And then if I am donating this stuff, getting it out of my house, guess what? It's going to be a blessing to someone else in my community because maybe I don't need these 25 coffee mugs that are sitting in my kitchen cupboard, but there's someone else in town who could. So let's donate them. Let's get them out of my house and into someone else's hands who could really use and appreciate them. So once you get into that correct mindset, then you see the right sizing process as a positive thing instead of a negative thing that you have to go through.
I've also learned through our Saturday conversations, your team asks good questions.
Absolutely.
When was the last time you ...
Yes, that's right. Sometimes we get into our habits and we're so used to having, we've had that huge turkey roaster for 40 years. Of course we need to bring that with us. However, let's think about your new life in your new home. Are you going to be hosting Thanksgiving dinner anymore? And if not, do you need the turkey roaster? Maybe your son and daughter-in-law are going to start hosting Thanksgiving. If they don't have a turkey roaster, give yours to them. And if they do have one, then donate yours, move on. You don't need the turkey roaster anymore.
In our conversations with Rich, real estate conversations, most of it ends up being a sale or as a result of needing to move to another location. Right sizing doesn't necessarily involve a move.
That's right. You can right size even in your own home. If you're not planning to move, let's face it, we all have too much stuff in our homes. So we can all stand to go through this right sizing process, whether we're moving or not.
So it's a process that everyone, young, old, doesn't matter the generation.
Yes. I'm 38 years old, and even I can go through this right-sizing process because here's the thing. In our society today, there's a constant inflow of stuff into our homes, isn't there? We go shopping. We come home from the store. We have stuff. Things come in the mail for us. We get things at work. Kids bring things home from school. There's a constant inflow of stuff. If the outflow of that stuff doesn't keep up, that's how you end up 40 years down the road in a extremely full house.
You made an observation that a generational observation that I thought was spot on. I looked at the generation, my folks, my grandparents that saved tinfoil, saved plastic bags, didn't throw anything away, took T-shirts and ripped them into strips and used those. And then you made an observation about my generation, which the light bulb came on when you said it.
Absolutely, yeah. What you're referring to is that Depression era generation who didn't throw anything away. And then I said, then there's that next generation. It's sort of the baby boomer generation. That's my parents' generation. And they didn't save everything, but they bought everything. During the 80s and 90s, it was a time of high consumption in our country. And you just go out, you would go out and you would purchase things and buy things. And, boy, the collectible plate companies made a ton of money in the 80s and 90s because they made all these beautiful plates and these cute little figurines, and they were collectible, and they each cost $30 or $40, and you go to the gift shop and you buy one. And now the pendulum has swung and no one's interested in those things anymore. And so there's sort of this avalanche of stuff. It's the grandparents who saved everything and the parents who bought everything.
Yeah. I have a micro version of that. There are certain things that me and my son did when he was still at home growing up, and it just pains me to have to get rid of them.
Right.
But I bounce off of him because he says, Dad, why are you saving these things? It's a little dose of reality medicine.
That's right.
That I need, and that's what you provide.
That's
for
right.
people.
And that memory clutter, the keepsakes, that's some of the hardest stuff to let go of. So I get it, and our team gets it, and that's something that we all can identify with. But again, it's about reframing and getting yourself in the right frame of mind. Let's focus on the present. Let's make memories in the present. Make new memories with your son. Someday it'll be grandkids, right? So make new memories now instead of just trying to relive the old memories. A little bit of that is fine. And again, that's respecting the limits of our space. If you've got 1 or 2 boxes of keepsake memories, that's fine. No one's going to take that away from you. The problem is when you have 25 or 35 boxes of memories and keepsakes.
Yeah, so this is the conversation every Saturday. You are always invited to sit down and talk about this, to listen with us talk about this. Janine Bryant, the expert from Changing Spaces SRS. Here's where you can go, EasyRightsizing.com. Or you can pick up Janine's book, Ready to Right Size. Join us every Sunday morning at this time for Easy Right Sizing.